Avoid using words like should and shouldn't. Why? What do these words imply? All right, so now we're champions at humanizing people, knowing our audience, using the Socratic method, following up on conversations, giving out call for actions, and we even got our story straight. Or many of them. So, why do we want to avoid using words like should and shouldn't when going through those previous experiences? Words like should and shouldn't are words that most of us use, but we also don't tend to do much with them, do we? Every time we use these words, it's like saying the exact opposite. It implies that we're obligated, and that is no fun. No one wants to be forced to do anything, but these words imply it. I've started changing my vocabulary around this specifically due to NVC, and I continued reinforcing it thanks to the mindful communication classes I now teach on Sundays. That you all have access for free, so make sure you take advantage. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, ask. My email is shared at the end of every module. So, should and shouldn't words are a part of the hardest vocabulary to stop using. These thoughts have been ingrained in us. We learn to be human by being taught what we should versus should not do. And that form of thinking does not have a positive outcome attached to it. Think about it for 1 second. If you were to say aloud right now, I know I should eat less junk or rest more, how does it make you feel? Does saying that make you feel like you're going to do it? Every time I hear someone say, I know I should, or I should, I already know that they will not do it. I've heard this so many times and no one follows through. Saying I should is like making up an excuse not to, and saying I shouldn't is like saying I should. We don't even believe what we are saying ourselves. And if we commit to somehow using those words, it's out of fear or obligation, not because we're embracing our reasons why. So we do it with resentment rather than change our perspective. Often, when we think we should or shouldn't do something, really, we know that we want or need to either stop or start to improve ourselves and enhance our life. But we forget and disconnect with our why. So it's not so much about should or should not, it's more about how do we reframe our mind around certain things. Next time you hear yourself use the terms I should or I shouldn't, take a moment and restructure what you're saying. Even if you're talking to someone else, for example, and in your mind, they should do this to enhance their life, but when they hear you say should, they aren't even listening anymore. So think of saying instead, it might be a good idea if to, or I suggest for you to. I find myself saying, oops, I'm teaching myself to avoid using those words. So how could I say it differently? No point in getting upset. Simply, how can I say it better next time so that my brain associates it positively and follows through for myself and for others around me? I want others to receive my words lightly. According to the examples above, rather than say, I should eat less junk food, you can say instead, I want to eat less junk food because it makes me feel so much better. Or my need to fuel my body with healthy food supersedes my temporary need for comfort. Strong reason why that we connect to and remember, because words are power. Choose to use them wisely. So, or rather than I should rest more, you could say, I really want to focus on resting more because I know I'm much more productive that way. Or I'm going to plan to get 1 extra hour of sleep every night to help me to get to my goals more effectively. You know, the clearer you are, the most specific, words are power. So let us use them strategically. Maybe in your conversation with someone, they say, I know I should go vegan. And you can say, using the word should implies that it's an obligation, when really it's a want. This is something you want to do to help reduce suffering, fight climate change, and improve your own health, right? The way we say things really influences our behavior and actions afterwards. So let me hear you say that you want to go vegan, because you know how much it will impact your own life positively on top of everyone else's. Let me hear you say it, and with conviction. We need to remember the underlying needs that we long and teach ourselves to move away from our old, conditioned ways of expressing ourselves without really thinking about it. No more should and shouldn'ts. I dare you to really start paying attention to that in your own vocabulary daily. Most people around me, like clients, realize they say it way more often than they were actually aware of. Okay, on to module 12 about the silent vegans and how to get them to become active. Do we ever need that? Follow me.